My, has it really been 2 years since you were last here? How time flies. Well, welcome back. If memory serves correct, then I do believe the last time you were here, we were learning all about one of the biggest changes to have occurred in Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in 2017, which was the implementation of Master Rule 4. You remember, right? We had a brand new field with brand new zones. Some of those zones got merged into other zones, and some of those zones got different names. Also, we got a brand new type of extra deck monster. Good times. Good times. So, how do I tell you this? Most of that stuff that you learned, well, you need to unlearn it. The new Master Rule, or should I say Master Rule revision, is gonna go back on some of those changes. Yeah, I'm sorry, but it does mean that I get to invite you back again to the Idiot's Guide to Master Rules Revision 2020, which I guess some people do refer to as Master Rule 5, but that's not actually accurate because this is more of a patch, so it's technically more of a Master Rule 4.5, so the next Master Rule will probably be Master Rule 5, so this is Master Rule 4.5, so yeah, regardless, welcome. So, in a recent video published by Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, it was revealed that as of April 1st, 2020, there was going to be a huge shakeup to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game again. Why they picked April 1st to do this, God only knows. Imagine if it all actually turned out to be one giant April Fool's Day prank. I mean, I'd laugh, but God, imagine the outrage. I'll give it to them though, it's a clever marketing strategy. Announce the change for April 1st. If everyone loves it, cool, there you go. But if everyone hates the idea of it, then no worries. It was just a prank, bro. Happy April Fools. Anyway, what Konami has done is basically incorporate the equivalent of the Uno reverse card into Yu-Gi-Oh! By that I mean previously in Master Rule 4, all extra deck monsters could only be summoned to the extra monster zone, meaning you could only have one fusion, one synchro, one Xyz, and one pendulum monster summoned from the extra deck on the field at a time. This was because there was now only one zone available for extra deck monsters, known of course as the Extra Monster Zone. This is of course unless you have a Link monster, which had the power through its Link markers to extend those extra monster zones, meaning you could increase the amount of extra deck monsters you could summon to the field. The reason behind this change at the time was in order to slow the card game down, since duelists had started being able to summon absurd amounts of extra deck monsters in rapid succession. But with Link monsters acting as speed bumps, if you will, this would mean you would need to dump more resources into those, making it so that you would get less powerful monsters on the field as fast. However, in reality, what actually happened was Link monsters became just as spammable, and despite the fact that they were meant to serve as mainly field extenders, as more Link monsters came out, they began having effects that started to rival those of other extra deck cards, thus becoming powerhouses in their own right. But that wasn't all. The mandatory requirement of buying Link monsters just so that you could play extra deck cards in your deck meant that essentially a paywall had been established. As a side effect as well, many decks had become so heavily affected by the extra deck summoning restrictions, they were almost unplayable in a competitive sense. However, now let's fast forward to 2020, where Konami has activated their Uno reverse card to take back one of the biggest changes that was implemented in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. Now with the Master Rules revision, starting April 1st, 2020, you can summon Fusion, Synchro, and Xyz monsters back into the main monster zones once again, meaning that there is now no limit to how many Fusion, Synchro, and Xyz monsters you can summon to the field. In fact, the extra monster zone is also still available to summon to as well, meaning technically you pretty much now have 6 summonable zones on the field. However, there is a catch to all this. This rule does not apply to Link and Pendulum monsters, as they still have to follow the old ruling, meaning your Link monsters must continue to be summoned in the Extra Monster Zone or Link zones, with the same applying of course to Pendulum monsters. So what does this mean for the game? Well, if your deck was harmed by the old ruling, well now it can make a comeback. It also means that decks are no longer paywalled by link monsters, meaning if link monsters were never really your thing, you just wasn't a fan of them, you need not ever put one again in your deck. Like, ever. But I mean, there are some good link monsters. A Boral Sword never really hurt anyone in their deck, did it? However, despite all these positives, it also means that decks that focus on extra deck summoning are going to be supercharged. Honestly, they're going to be as fast and as deadly as they have ever been before. Hopefully, with upcoming ban lists, any overpowered cards that are going to be played in this format, hopefully they get semi-limited, limited, or forbidden sooner rather than later. We want to keep a balanced ground here. And one minor little thing that's just only a little bit of a negative, but the extra monster zone is called the extra monster zone, and the main monster zone is called the main monster zone, but now you can summon extra deck monsters into the main monster zone. I feel like they need to revise the names of these to something else as well. If you're somebody that is upset by the fact that pendulum monsters sort of got screwed over in this the most, there is always a chance that in the future, if they're underused, they could also see a Master Rule 5.5 revision or something like that, or perhaps another revision in the future. Hopefully you're going to have a lot of fun playing with these updated rules, and if your deck was hindered by these rules, then have fun picking it up again. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, but other than that, goodbye everyone. Thank you for watching.